What's up, y'all? So, I washed my hair, and this is my natural hair after I blow dried it. It's vast. It is thick. I was doing some thinking the other day about introversion and extroversion. I guess some critical thinking about it, because often when I talk about being an introvert or being an extrovert or being an ambivert, I am speaking about the way that you regain social energy in order to engage with yourself or in order to engage with other people. So an introvert regains social energy by being by themselves, while an extrovert regains social energy by being with other people. And of course, because this whole thing is a spectrum, people that fall in the middle are called ambiverts. And because spectrums are really, they often work in shades of gray, a lot of people fall in the ambivert category. Well, there definitely are some people that are purely introverts and purely extroverts. It seems like a lot of people are kind of in between, which makes sense. And thinking of it that way, and thinking of it as the way that you recharge, rather than being shy versus being outgoing, because there are some outgoing introverts and there are some really shy extroverts. And thinking about it through the lens of social energy. Does that conversely mean that introverts give off energy while extroverts pull in energy? Is that what that means? It seems like to me there's a hole in that jump in logic from the way that you recharge to the way that you expel it, or the way that you get it. It seems like there's a hole somewhere, and I'm not entirely certain where, because it seems like there are some people that less readily give off energy, and there are some people that are more like, they almost give off energy at the same rate that they take it in, if that makes sense. And so I don't know if you can necessarily say, like, as a fact, this is like hard and fast fact, that introverts give off energy while extroverts pull in energy. Not as, I think it's a bit more nuanced than the assertion that introverts regain energy by being by themselves and extroverts regain it by being around others. But assuming that's the way it is, I would consider myself an introvert, definitely an introvert, but not purely an introvert. So if you took the spectrum from extrovert to introvert and you took out the piece that was introvert, I would be not all the way on purely an introvert, but like very close to it, if that makes sense. There are some situations where I do regain social energy from others, that I am able to pull energy. And it's not common, but it does happen. And the only instance I can think of is when I'm on stage. And so when I am portraying another character, being another person, it's almost like being in a social situation and not having to engage in it at the same time. And you can feel the energy coming off of the audience, like flowing into you. And I feel it like I am taking in energy as fast as I am pushing it out, or not even pushing it out. I don't really push it out so much as I use it, like I process it. I'm actually like using it to be this character. A lot of things are draining for me. Generally talking to people is draining. Doing these videos is draining. And it's mostly because I am too close to being me. When I'm doing my job, when I was doing the disaster relief, that is someone else entirely. And so that's something where I don't really feel drained by. But in social situations where it's like my peers and doing these videos, it's a bit too close to me to not be draining. So yeah, these things are very draining for me, but they're important to do. They're important exercise, and that's why I continue doing them. So I was wondering if there were any other introverts that kind of experience this high sensitivity to social energy where you can feel every little bit that's being pulled from you, but also when there's energy being pushed at you. For me, I'm really highly attuned to it. So when I'm talking to a person who is, just radiating social energy, I can definitely feel it, but it's kind of not in a form that I can absorb, but I can definitely feel it like hitting me and bouncing off. And it makes the situation a bit more comfortable because I'm not being drained by them because they're pushing off so much energy. It's always, it's just an interesting thing to notice. And it's something I definitely think about. But I was wondering, what are your guys' thoughts on that whole thing where I was talking about introverts pushing energy while extroverts pull energy? Does that make sense to you? And does that mean that introverts are the only source of social energy? Is that what that means? Because that just doesn't sound entirely right to me. But maybe that's the way that it is. I'm not entirely certain. But when you think about it more critically than just, the way that you recharge, it becomes a bit more interesting. Yeah, so what are you guys' thoughts on that? I'd really like to know.